Y'all, I finally did it. I completed our 50 states unit study. I put it all together. I made all the things. I am going to share it with you guys today, so stick around for a look inside. I can't believe I did this. And let me just preface this with I'm very proud of myself for this. This is not like I didn't go through and write a bunch of things and create a whole curriculum thing. But I did come up with worksheets that go with the books and book lists and prompts, and I am very, very proud of myself for this. And if you have been around at all, you know that this is something that I've kind of been working towards. I feel like maybe I've hinted it a little bit, but I've not really come out and said I'm making a 50 states unit study, at least not on YouTube. So I made a 50 states unit study for our homeschool. And I have a really fun thing to share with you at the end. So I will kind of go through everything here first, and then we'll get to that part later. First off, I want to say I created this unit for our homeschool. So it is geared towards my daughter's needs, with me trying to also keep in mind that there could potentially be other people who happen to use the unit study. And so just trying to keep that in mind and leave a little room for variety and things like that. It is geared more towards your elementary age, but you could probably make it work for a middle schooler, and maybe even just a fun little extra thing for your high schooler. I don't know. I think that really just depends on your child. If this is something, if states are something maybe that they're really kind of interested in, maybe this would be a cool thing for them. But I definitely geared it a little bit, younger ages, but it is very easily adaptable. I wanted to create my own unit study because I had a hard time finding what I wanted, really. And so I just made my own. And what I really wanted to emphasize through the unit was being able to make connections, real world connections. And what I mean by that is, what are some things that our children are going to come in contact with, either through other curriculums, through museums, libraries, books, other people, things that they see, like TV, movies, things like that. And how can we connect those things together? How can we take a 50 state unit study and just put a little bit more oomph in it and pull out those things that hopefully will allow to make those connections. And I just didn't see what I wanted. I saw a lot of the same thing in a lot of different 50 states, and there was a lot. I did a lot of research, and there was a lot of really good things. It wasn't specifically what I wanted for our 50 states unit, and I pulled out the things that I thought were going to be important and that would help my family make those kinds of connections as we go through our homeschooling journey and we just do life together. And so with that said, that's just something to keep in mind as we go through this unit. I did create it for my family, and I hope that it serves as a blessing for other families. Hint, hint. And so I want to share it with you. Another big reason why I did this is because I have a ton of books, and I wanted to be able to use them all, and I wanted something that would work for the books that we have in our library. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the only books that are required to complete the unit are the 50 States book and the 50 Cities book. Now, I say they're required because the pages are specifically designed to be pulled from these two. The information is designed to be pulled from these two books. Now, that's not to say you couldn't use another similar book, but that is possible. You would just have to go through those worksheets and make sure that the things line up or make adjustments if needed. However, again, the worksheets were made specifically for those two books. Everything else, and I will get through all the other things, everything else are just recommendations. They're just fun, extra things that I just wanted to give you ideas on. So when I first started, I went ahead and wrote out like a potential schedule for us. And so that's what this is. This page is just like a brief little explanation of, this is to be used however you would like to. You can adjust the schedule, all of that stuff. These are schedule options, like potential options, and then your two required books there. This page is just a sample schedule. This is the schedule that we will be using as far as I can tell. This is what I have planned. So we will school for 5 days out of the week. We will school for all 5 days. However, we will only learn about a new state Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, I have a lot of other books that I want us to read, and so we will be doing those Tuesday and Thursday with some additional activities and things that correlate with those books. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what a schedule could look like. Again, it could be easily adaptable to something else. Now we move on to the book list. Okay. Now, I do need to add a little disclaimer here, and I do have it included up here as well. We are just starting this unit, okay? And so we have not read all of the books that are listed on the book list. I did my best to try and vet all of the books. I tried to choose books that I thought would be appropriate. I got recommendations from people that I personally would trust, as far as giving me books that are age appropriate and things like that. However, I've not read all of them. There are some that I have pulled from our personal library that I know are good books and are fine, but that's just something that you need to keep in mind. There is a lot of books in here, and I have not read them all. So if you plan on using this in any way, then you want to make sure you're kind of skimming over those books when you purchase them or get them from the library or whatever, just to make sure they fit you and your family's needs, okay? So I give you some reference book options. I give you extra books, and that's literally just what it is. I was looking through and I'm like, oh, this would be kind of cool. Oh, this would be kind of cool. And so I just added it in an extra books category. And then I do give you a couple of read aloud options there as well. And then I give you one book for every single state and Washington, D.C. So this is the part really where I want to emphasize I have not read all of these books. But again, I did my very best to try and go through, make sure they were from trusted sources, things like that. Again, read over any books that you may get from here. Of course, if anything is brought to my attention as we go through, I will adjust, then as I need to. But anyway, also this book list is not just here is a picture book to go with a state. I tried to be very intentional and find books that correlate with that state in some way, whether the main character currently lives in that area or that state, whether maybe they're from that state, whether maybe it's a family that's traveling to the state, something like that. I really tried to bring the state into the book, you know, again, making that connection where the book actually correlates with the state that they are learning about, not necessarily just here's a fun picture book that you could read with the state, if that makes sense. So that is the book list. Then I do give you 12 writing prompts, okay? I just stopped at 12 because that's just what would fit on the page and what my brain could gather. And so you can add to these, you can do them, you know, in a cycle, maybe if you wanted to, maybe just mix these in with other ones. But I do give you some fun ideas for writing prompts there. So here we get into our actual worksheets, okay? So these are the pages that correlate with the book. So my idea is you would take this book and you're gonna open it to whatever state is next. Me personally, I'm just gonna go in order that the book does, which is alphabetical, okay? So we're gonna set this out on the table. We're gonna look over some things, probably read some things. This is cool, you know, all of that kind of stuff. This stays laid out on the table, on the floor, in the grass, wherever you are schooling, okay? And then my child and potentially your children will have this out, okay? And here they will find the state on the map, color it. Here they can draw or write or whatever they want to, either the state bird or the state flower, whatever they choose, or they could do both if they wanted to. The state name, the state nickname, and then here, this just prompts them to read through the moments to remember section. Again, specific to that 50 states book. And find their favorite and what was cool about that. Why did they like it? So to write a moment to remember here, and then just to add the date to go with it, so that they remember when that moment happened, okay? And then they have these cool little Polaroids, and they're gonna pick 2 famous people and 2 animals to draw a picture of, and then write down here the names of the people and the animals, okay? And then we have this section here. This is an outline of like a postage stamp. And so this just prompts them to create their own postage stamp for that state. You could kind of Google some images to get some ideas on state-specific postage stamps if you need a little inspiration, but that's what this area is for. And then here is a postcard. The postcard is either from a national park, a state park, or a landmark in that state. And so here they will just draw a postcard, or they can write, or whatever they want to, specifically from one of those 3 options. It also, I also notated you could do this on even another sheet of paper and actually mail it to a friend or a family member, and they could get a postcard from your kids from every state that they visit. That is it for the 50 states. Now we move on to 50 cities. The same exact way that we did the 50 states, you're going to take out your 50 cities book, go to the table of contents, find the state that you just were looking at, okay? And then pick a city. Some states only give you 1 city option. Other states give you multiples. So you'll just decide, just pick one. If you can't pick one, rock, paper, scissors, and that will be the deciding factor for you. They're gonna write the name of the city here. They're going to look at where the city is located on the map and decide, is the city more north? Is it more south? Is it more east? Or is it more west? And they will circle that cardinal direction as to where the city generally is located within the state. Okay, here, this is to read through the A Day In section and find one that you would want to do, write about it, and maybe draw a picture of them doing that thing, or, whatever the activity was. And then here is just choose a fun fact and either draw a picture of it or write or dictate it below. Okay? Those are your main pages. That's it. Those are your main pages. Then I give you a little journal page here in case you want to use that. Okay, and then the Constitution quiz. So these are extras that I created to go along with some of the additional books that we will be using. These are listed on the book list, but again, I did not notate them as required books because they're not required. These are just kind of extras. Okay, so the Interactive Constitution is the book that I used to create the Constitution quiz. This book is super cool. It is interactive and I'm very excited to get into it. And so what I did was just create little questions based off of the information presented on the pages. So I just kind of opened here, to a set of pages and I came up with, I'm pretty sure it was 2 questions per page, not per page, but per set of pages. So I just opened here, came up with 2 questions from here. Here, 2 questions, and I just did that all along. And so you could do it as a discussion. So you kind of read through that set of pages for the day. And then you could find the 2 questions that go along with those pages and just use those as a review, kind of a discussion, or you could use it as an actual quiz and ask the questions when the book is completed and have them answer the questions. Okay, the next up is the Declaration of Independence vocabulary word practice. This one I created to go alongside the side-by-side Declaration of Independence. And this book I am very much looking forward to as well, because it takes the original text of the Declaration of Independence, tells you about it, what it actually means, what's going on, and puts it in plain English so that it's easier for your children to understand and for us to understand. And they do give lots and lots of vocabulary in here. And so the idea is just that your children will very simply, your children, my kid too, Anyways, would pick a vocabulary word. You could give them a number. They could pick their favorites, however that looks for you. They would just write the word here and then write the definition over here. You could use that later for quiz, review, spelling, whatever you wanted that to look like. So you get this page and then an extra full sheet of that. And then this last page is for flashcards. And that is for this book, The United States in 100 Words. Again, these are just extra. This one specifically, you really don't have to have the book to pair with it because the idea is that you would find a word that describes the United States. On one side, they can draw a picture and write the word, and then, on one side they would draw a picture and on the back they could just write the word. You could do a fun little game out of it, whatever you wanted to. But this book would give just kind of some good ideas and it just prompts us to go through them and just see what this book has to offer us. A couple of books specifically that I want, or another book that I specifically want to go through is this one called Forgotten Founders. This one, we will be doing journal entries. And so we will just go through, we will read about one of the forgotten founders, 1 or 2, just kind of depending on how it goes. And then I will just have my daughter go to a journal page and write something she learned, maybe give me 2 sentences about the person, and then a sentence about a fun fact or something they learned about the person, kind of whatever whatever she wants to write based off of those things. Okay, I think that's all for the unit. Now, here's the good stuff. This is the stuff y'all really want to know, okay? So let me get my pages up here. So your actual worksheet pages, okay? The ones that specifically correlate with the book. All of these, right? This one, this one, this one, and this one, okay? All these, they're free. They are. And they are in the link in the description on my brand new Teachers Pay Teachers website. Or not website, but like on my account thing. I don't even know. My store. I guess maybe that's what it is. My shop. My Teachers Pay Teachers shop. I don't know the proper verbiage for that, but hopefully y'all know what I mean. I opened an account kind of thing. I started a Teachers Pay Teachers thing. So y'all can go and get the unit for free. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The link is in the description. So make sure you go check it out if you want those pages. Now, if you want the entire unit, okay? If you want the whole thing, the book list, the quizzes, the practice, all the things, then if you are a Made to Homeschool member, if you go to your content library, this unit is there. The whole thing, the whole shebang. It's in there for you just for being a member in Made to Homeschool. You have access to the whole thing. If you are not a Made to Homeschool member, but you want access to that, I also will include a link for you to join us over at Made to Homeschool. One, so you can get the unit study if that's where you're going, you know, what you're going for. But also, like, take some time and look around. There are so many people there that are homeschooling. Everybody's homeschooling, but there's just, everyone is interacting and talking and sharing, and we're getting ideas, and we're starting to plan for what next year looks like, and people want curriculum ideas, and, you know, someone will have a specific need, and so they'll post about it, and someone else will answer, I was just dealing with that last year. This is what we did and what we, you know, worked for us. And there's so much good stuff on top of all of the free, like, printables and curriculum. Well, yeah, I mean, there is some curriculum in there. Obviously, there's unit studies, weekly, like weekly meal planners and chore charts, and live Q&A videos for premium members. There's just all kinds of stuff. So I will include that down in the description for you guys too, if you want to go over there, check it out. And then you'll want to go to the content library because that's where this will be. But I think that's all for my unit study. If you guys have any questions, or if there's anything that I missed, please leave that in the comments. That way I can get your questions answered. Hopefully I will see you all over in Made to Homeschool. If not, I will talk to you soon.